for episode 2 of Say What. We're counting down the best attractions in all of Walt Disney World. We've already counted down the Magic Kingdom, and today we're counting down Epcot and Hollywood Studios. Joining me today is Reagan.
Hey.
Bree. Heather.
Hello.
Rustin.
Hi, everybody.
And Ren.
Hi.
So, and I'm telling you right now, there's some of these things we haven't done yet, but it's kind of like you guys out there. Everyone doesn't go to Walt Disney World every single year or 2 or 3 times a year, and there's always going to be something new. They're building stuff all the time. Every time you go, there's going to be construction walls somewhere because they're always building stuff. But we've done our research on these, and what we're doing now is our bracket of the best Epcot attractions, and we're going to find out which are the top 4 that advance to the ultimate Sweet 16 of each of the 4 Disney parks. We've done the Magic Kingdom, we're going to do Epcot, we're doing Hollywood Studios, we're going to finish with Animal Kingdom, then we're going to bring you the Sweet 16 of all of those. So today we're in Epcot, and we're going to start with Turtle Talk with Crush versus Spaceship Earth. Reagan.
This is going to be a hard one just because Turtle Talk with Crush was like a fun thing that we did as a kid, and I remember going and doing all of that. But then Spaceship Earth, that's a fun one. You get to actually go inside the ball, right? That's that one. And so, I don't know. But I think I'm going to go with Spaceship Earth just because it is the ball. That's the iconic Epcot ride.
Bree.
Yeah, I think I side with Reagan on this one. When you walk into Epcot, the first thing you see is that big, iconic white ball. Almost looks like is it supposed to be a golf ball? I'm not too sure. It looks like a golf ball.
It's a duodecic sphere.
So yeah, being able to go inside that and experience that, that's why I choose that one, Spaceship Earth.
Heather?
I choose Spaceship Earth as well, even though Turtle Talk with Crush has a great place in my heart as a mom, watching first Rustin go through and do Turtle Talk, and then the girls doing Turtle Talk. It has some great memories. But they're in the process of redoing Spaceship Earth, and so I'm excited to see what it does. And so it's something we always ride. We don't always go do Turtle Talk with Crush. So I'm going to choose Spaceship Earth.
I'm going with Spaceship Earth too, although I remember Turtle Talk with Crush, when you get to go into that, you get to interact with Crush, and the little kids get to go up and ask. I remember when Ren was little, she went up and asked, how do turtles breathe underwater? And it was a good question, and they answered it and are teaching the kids at the same time. So I've always been impressed with that. But Spaceship Earth it's just a classic Disney. It's another one where you're on the seats move all the time.
Omnimover.
It's an Omnimover, and it takes you to the top of the ball and takes you through history, and it's just a really fun attraction. It's the icon of the park. I'm going Spaceship Earth.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of Epcot, you always think of the big sphere every time, and due to it being iconic and it's never going to go anywhere, it may get updated, may get renovated, but it ain't leaving. So Spaceship Earth, where Turtle Talk with Crush is great for the kids, but it's probably not going to be there forever.
Ren?
I have to agree with Rustin on Spaceship Earth because it is something that kind of lasts with everyone and can go with all types of ages, whereas Turtle Talk with Crush is kind of more aimed for the younger kids.
So a clean sweep on Spaceship Earth. Moves on to the Elite 8 of Epcot. Let's look at Living with the Land versus the Advanced Training Lab. Ren.
I'm going to have to go with Living with the Land just because I don't know what the Advanced Training Lab is, let alone where it's at in the park or what is all involved with it. And Living with the Land, to me, was so cool to go through the first time because you get to see like how they grow all their plants and stuff that you get to eat, and seeing the fish like things that they have. There's a better word for how it all works, but I thought that was so cool to see.
Well, the Advanced Training Lab is going into mission space, where you go through the training, all of those little things you can do inside there before you actually pick if you want to go through the 2 different rides of Mission Space.
Okay.
So we have been in there. We haven't do a lot with it. But Rustin.
I'm gonna go with Living with the Land. I think Disney does a good job of trying to represent sustainable foods and different things you can do with hydroponics and things like that, and the fact that they use those at all the restaurants. So they're just demonstrating farm to table. So I got to go with that, and it's a pretty cool thing to go through and see.
Yeah, Living with the Land. It is. If you're looking for something to do and there's lines everywhere, go do Living with the Land. It's a nice one. You don't necessarily have to fast pass it. You can go hop in line and you're going to get on pretty quick, and you're going to learn some things, and really you're going to be more impressed with what Disney does inside their own park of providing their own food sources and all of that they do. So it's enjoyable. They talk about farming. We're from a farming part of the country, and so Living with the Land.
For me, it's Living with the Land as well. Being a science teacher, and I do teach AP, environmental and regular environmental science, it does show the sustainability and how to take the water from the hydroponics and then use it for the tilapia to clean the water and use it for their food source. And it's just interesting to go through and see what they've done and how they have changed the science behind hydroponics with some of the things they do. So definitely Living with the Land.
Great.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ren where like since we don't really do much with Advanced Training Lab, I don't really know too much about it. So Living with the Land takes it for me.
Yeah, same. I think Living with the Land is like a fun ride that you get to go to and just kind of get to relax. It's not so much like the Hall of Presidents where I can take a nap during it, but it's one of those things that just kind of refreshes you and gets you ready for the more walking, the parkish part of the park. So I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Living with the Land.
So another clean sweep with Living of the Land. Now we're going to move on to a couple of attractions in the World Showcase. American Adventure and Impressions de France. Reagan.
Okay, have we ever been on any of these? I feel like I'm having a hard time remembering.
Okay, the American Adventure is they sing out in front, then we go in and watch that big movie, and it spreads out, the screen gets bigger, and it's finally almost like wrapped around you, and they're telling the American story. It has Mark Twain and Benjamin Franklin.
That's where we lost Ren that one time.
No, we lost Ren in France.
Impressions de France.
Oh, that's what I thought.
What
we were
is
talking about.
Impressions de France?
Yeah.
That's the movie about France. That's over by the Eiffel Tower where they showed the movie about France and living in France, and that's where you were out by the fountain and we had to run down and run you down like we just had to run down some cats. But so it's really a movie, but it has animatronics.
Okay, so then I guess just because I don't remember either, then I'm going to go with American Adventure just because I remember people singing. And I feel like that experience while you're waiting to go somewhere and seeing them, they're all dressed up, right, in the like colonial type of clothes. I feel like that's a good one. So I'm gonna go with American Adventure.
Bree?
So Impressions de France, that's intriguing to me because I've been to France, and so it's kind of cool to witness the culture that led to what France is now. But I'm gonna go with American Adventure as well.
I'm going to go with American Adventure as well. Just when we go a lot at Christmas time, just being a teacher, it's a lot easier for us to get off at Christmas. And I'm a little fluffy and I like it a little cool. The summer's just way too hot down there. But when we go at Christmas time, the Christmas carols that they sing in there and the shape of the room, just it brings emotions to you. It's a great place to go. So I'm going to choose American Adventure.
I'm going American Adventure. It's a great way to tell the American story. They tell the advancements and how we keep moving forward. And some people these days might consider that propaganda, but I still consider it history and what has helped make America great and make America strong. And so I really enjoy it. And I love the Mark Twain animatronic out on in there and talking with Benjamin Franklin, and so it's a really neat deal. So I'm going American Adventure.
I got to go with American Adventure because America. France, thank you for your help in the Revolutionary War, but I'm gonna stick with that.
Ren?
I'm gonna have to go with American Adventure just because it's the one I remember the most, and it is something like spectacular to see, especially when you get to see the people that sing.
So let's see, three clean sweeps, and this happens a lot early when you compare these kind of attractions. Sometimes it seems like a mismatch, but that's what happens in the tournament sometimes. You get some mismatches. Now we're going to go to Project Tomorrow, which is at the end of when you come out the Epcot ride, the Epcot Ball or Spaceship Earth, you go in and there's some really neat things you can do, tests of agility, things like that. That's Project Tomorrow. And Mission Space. This is headed to Mars. There's two versions of it, a turbulent one and a less turbulent one. So, Ren?
I'm gonna have to go with Mission Space just because I love thrill rides and it's so exciting and it really does make you feel like you're like flying and it's so cool. I don't know, I don't have a weak stomach like some people, so it doesn't get to me, so I can enjoy it.
I will say it, if you're not good on like spinny rides, things like that, Mission Space may be a little rough for you. Me and my dad, we can ride roller coasters all day, but anything that spins in circles and stuff like that, it doesn't end well. Now, I'm taking Mission Space. I just might not go on the turbulent one next time. For some reason, that ride gets to me out of all the rides, and I just don't know why. But it is still fun.
Yeah, okay, so I've never done the turbulent one because I know I would enact the little bag, and I don't want to be the guy. But on the less turbulent one, it pushes me to the limit, and I know it's even considered less turbulent, but I can handle it, and it does feel like you are taking off in a rocket. It does feel like you're in space, and then it feels like you are landing on the surface of Mars. They are in your head the whole time. It feels real. And I can handle it all the way up to the lean over the cliff and then the pop back. That's where I'm like, oh no. But Mission Space for me.
Okay, I'm still Mission Space. I would like to ride the real turbulent one once, but because
Next time, Rustin can ride with Earl, and you can go with
yeah,
us.
I like that idea. I can do the virtual rides real well. They don't bother my stomach at all. So I'm going with Mission Space.
Bree.
I'm gonna go Mission Space as well. I remember when we went a few years ago, we rode it twice, and I think we rode it twice in a row, and I think that's the only reason it did get to me because I remember after the second time I did feel a little nauseous, but the first time I was just fine. So I think if we just do it once, wait a few minutes, wait a few hours, maybe then ride it again. I'm all for the most turbulent one because I don't really get nauseous that easily. But riding it 2 times in a row, I think, is what did it for me. But definitely Mission Space is the one for,
Same.
That's what happened.
I'm gonna go with Mission Space. It is a ride compared to like an experience that you're gonna get towards the Epcot Ball exit, but Mission Space is pretty cool just because like it shows you something that a lot of us don't really get to be a part of. Like not all of us are gonna be astronauts and go up into space, but it gives you a little taste of what that'll be like, and I think it like shows kids what they could do and like give them a different career option that not a lot of people will see. So I'm gonna go with Mission Space.
Another clean sweep with Mission Space, Soren, and the Journey into Imagination with Figment. Reagan?
Oh, this one for me is way too easy. Soren all the way. I think it's just an awesome ride, and when you get to hear how they like came up with it with the director's set and everything, it's an amazing story to see how Soren was created, and so I'm just gonna go with Soren.
Did you say the director's set?
Yeah, right? That's what
Is
it
it
was.
Erector's
set. I don't know.
Reagan just makes words come out.
Close enough.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be another clean sweep, but Soren is my choice as well because I think it's really cool how you go in and you see what the setup is like before you go on the ride, and you wouldn't think that you would be able to feel and experience those feelings and stuff in that one room. But sure enough, Disney is incredible and makes you go through a lot of feelings during that ride, and it's one of my favorites. So Soren.
Heather?
I'm Soren too. I like the immersion that they did, and this kind of changed some of the other rides that they did within the park to give you those other feelings like the smells and how that immersion changes everything. But definitely Soren.
Yeah, Soren, and I'm like what Bree said. When you see people lifting their feet when you're going over the ocean because they don't want their feet to get wet, you know you're in their head. And that's what this ride does. It makes you feel like you are literally over the ocean, over the mountains, the breeze, the smells. It's the whole deal. And so Soren all the way. Rustin?
Yeah. It's iconic. When it's made its way into an episode of The Simpsons and South Park, I mean, that's just part of like culture and society. It's iconic. It's maybe not the biggest thrill ride, but it is a great experience. Soren, definitely.
Man?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Soren also, just because it just has that like such well done immersion that makes you feel like you are like hang gliding over all these places.
Another clean sweep. We haven't had any controversies
Not
yet.
yet.
Not yet. Okay, now this one we threw in an attraction that's being replaced, but I always try to do that so we can talk a little bit about whether we think it should have been replaced or what we thought about that attraction.
What is
So-
it being replaced with?
Ellen's Energy Adventure is being replaced with the Guardians of the Galaxy
That's
roller
right.
coaster.
Oh,
So
I didn't know
it also matters what they're replacing it with. If anything about that. But Frozen Ever After versus Ellen's Energy Adventure. And we'll start with Ren.
So none of us have done the Frozen Ever After, and so I don't know. I enjoy Ellen's Energy Adventure just because it's Ellen and she's funny, and you know, you get to go through this whole ride. But I do think that it was in need for a replacement because it was just kind of, you know, when you would go, when it would be like jam packed with people, or like you'd have all these people waiting to go. And so for that reason, I think I'm gonna have to go with Frozen Ever After, just because Frozen came out so long ago and it's worked its way into the parks, and it's just, you know, it's still like a big hit with everyone.
-1.
Rustin?
Yeah.
All right. Despite my feelings towards Frozen
Oh,
and
no.
Frozen 2, I mean, look how much that thing blew up, right? So I'm going to go with Frozen. And plus, I mean, Ellen, sad to see you go. But anything affiliated with Guardians of the Galaxy is like, yeah, all right. Yeah, it was time to go then. It was time to go.
And Frozen replaced Maelstrom, which was more of a Viking ride over in Norway.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's at. And I've seen the ride through several times, and I can't wait to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The animatronic Olaf and even Anna and Elsa, they look incredible. It's something I'm looking forward to. So I'm definitely, and now I love doing Ellen's Energy Adventure, but it's kind of a one and done kind of thing. I'm Frozen on this one.
And I am Frozen too. We'd ridden the Maelstrom. It needed some updating. So I'm glad Anna and Elsa found their place over there in Norway. But Ellen's Energy Adventure, if they weren't going to replace it with something like the Guardians, it really needed some major updating. Because Bill Nye still had his original color hair. He didn't have gray hair like he has now. So I'm going to go Frozen.
Great.
So I didn't remember. I mean, we've never done Frozen Ever After, and I honestly couldn't remember Ellen's Energy Adventure, even though apparently we read it when we went. And for that reason, I did choose Frozen Ever After, but I also watched the video for the ride Frozen Ever After, and it looked really cool, and so that's why I also chose Frozen Ever After.
Do you remember a ride that referred to Jeopardy? Jeopardy the game?
No, see, I watched the
She
video,
literally went back and watched it and had
and
no
I
idea
don't
what it
remember
was.
anything about it.
Well, that'll tell you something. Right
Yeah.
there. So,
So-
obviously, Disney's making the right choice of changing out Ellen's. Reagan.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Frozen. But now that I think about it, Frozen actually didn't come out that long ago, like 2012 maybe.
That was 8
That's
years
8
ago.
years ago.
Okay, but it got pretty it got into the parks, like it's
Big,
everywhere into
big
the parks,
presence.
and it's not been that long, and so I feel like that shows just how much Frozen has impacted Disney, and I just think that it's cool that they're letting it get more into the park, because now once it's there in Frozen, here it's like over in Disney World 2 times, I think, right, with the sing along and this one.
Well, not only that, the sing-alongs at Hollywood Studios, we may get to that later, and then you've also got at the Magic Kingdom, when you go at Christmas time, when they light up the castle at
Oh,
night, that's a
castle.
Frozen show.
But the last time we went was when was the last time?
2015.
They did we saw that Frozen
In
show.
2015, so that was only like 3 years
And
after
it was brand new
Frozen.
then, right? When we went in 2015.
And so
It's pretty new. Yeah.
it's crazy how like it just
Yeah.
boom impacted Disney so much.
Yep, so another clean sweep. Frozen takes out Ellen. And now let's see where we're getting here. 2 left before we advance to the second round here of Epcot. Grand Fiesta Tour with the 3 Caballeros versus the Coral Reef. And the Coral Reef is where you go in and you get to see all of the fish and all of the sharks and
I thought that was the
Yeah,
All
you're
that.
missing you're missing the Nemo
Yeah.
ride here, Dad.
well, do I not have the Nemo ride on?
No.
That's what I thought.
Then let's call Coral Reef / Nemo.
Because they're the same thing, aren't they?
Yeah,
Well,
you go
It's
in the
connected.
front end. You don't have to go on the ride. You can just go
Yeah.
in and look at that. We'll connect those together. Coral Reef and Nemo ride versus Grand Fiesta and the 3 Caballeros. Reagan.
Ooh, that hurts. I don't know. I think the Fiesta ride with the 3 amigos, that one was fun because you get to go through the restaurant, kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean
Yeah.
over at Disneyland. And but the Coral Reef Finding Nemo, that one's always been a fun one, especially because it's by that restaurant where it actually has the tank in it and you get to see it while you're eating. So I guess I'm just gonna go with Finding Nemo just because of they actually incorporated like fish tanks into that because like you see Dory and Nemo swimming through that stuff. So I'm gonna go with Finding Nemo.
Bree.
So I've always been a huge fan of marine life, and so I always enjoy watching, anything that lives in the ocean, especially sharks and coral reefs and anything like that. However, I do feel like you can see and experience that stuff just about anywhere you go. There's an aquarium in almost every state. So I'm going to have to go with the 3 Caballeros.
Oh, first dissenter. Let's see how we go here.
Well, I like both, but I think it's time for the 3 Caballeros to find an update with maybe replacement with Coco. I really feel like Coco needs to find its place in the park. So to me, if you've never seen 3 Caballeros, then because it's a very distinct little part of the Disney story, it makes it hard to know what's going on in there. And but I like Nemo. They updated Nemo here recently, and so I really like the Coral Reef and the Nemo.
Those are strong case to make. Coral Reef or Nemo ride is an omnimover, and Grand Fiesta Tour is a boat, and it's inside the pyramid that Mexico's restaurant and the Mexico experience is, and I'm going with the Grand Fiesta Tour with the 3 Caballeros. I'm a Donald Duck guy, and
That's also kind of why I toured it.
they added when we first went through it when Rustin was younger. They didn't have the 3 animatronics, but they added those in. They actually brought them back from the European park
Oh, okay.
and put those in. And so there's an animatronic Donald. I think the only animatronic Donald you're ever going to see. And it's very colorful and bright. And they are working on a Coco deal, but I don't think you replace Donald. You add Coco, but you don't replace Donald. So I'm going with the duck. I'm going Grand Fiesta. Rustin?
Oh. See, I originally wrote down Caballeros, and then I'm still in a 50-50. It's a part of that kind of the classic Disney, those old characters, and you can't just cast them aside and forget about
Yeah, classic clip.
them. And Coral Reef, when you think about it, it's a little sinister that you go through the Nemo ride, and you see all the fish, and you love them, and then you look in the aquarium while you're eating fish.
Okay.
I'm going to go with 3 Caballeros.
Gren, you can break it, or are you gonna make it a tie?
So, okay, I realized this when we were talking about it, but where's the Nemo sing along? Where's that at? Is that
That's in Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
That's the Finding Nemo the musical,
Yeah, the puppets.
and
That
that'll
was
be
cool.
coming up
That
here
was-
on our
it's a
next
good one.
episode
Good
when
one.
we talk Hollywood Studios. But this one is no, that's Animal
Yeah.
Kingdom.
I was like,
Yeah.
whoa,
No, I'm
messing
wrong.
me up
Yeah,
here.
no. But this one is the Nemo ride.
Okay, so they have a lot of Nemo stuff like throughout like all the different parks. But for me, I have to agree, like it's just like something that you've seen before, like all the aquariums. And me personally, like as much as I love Finding Nemo, I am gonna have to go with the Grand Fiesta tour with the 3 Caballeros. Because it is just something like so like classic and fun, and then you get to walk through like it's kind of like a museum when you're going into it because it has like all the stuff and like the history part of it, and then it's kind of like a more specified like it's a small world to like
Yeah.
Mexico, and I agree with Mom. I think it would be cool to see Coco in the park, but he said it's coming somewhere. Do you know
Yep,
where?
they're working on. They have a Coco show right now with puppets and the guy
Oh
playing
yeah,
the guitar.
guy.
I love
And
it.
things like that. So they're doing
Oh,
some
see.
Coco things right now. Everything's kind of up in limbo because of the virus and the shutting down the park, and all of the plans are kind of just in limbo now. So it's hard to say. But and I also want to throw in there that they also don't just make Donald Duck to be the bad guy like he is in almost
Yeah.
every other
Yeah.
cartoon. He's kind of the sweet guy in this one. He's a
Well
good
done.
guy. He's looking for him. So all right, Grand Fiesta makes the cut.
And we always do, even though it didn't win there, we always ride the Nemo and go eat at the Coral Reef.
Yeah.
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 And like the same night.
And those
Yeah.
again, those are 2 attractions you can almost walk on to. You're not gonna have long waits for Nemo. You're not gonna have long waits for Grand Fiesta. So if you're looking for something to do, those 2 are really easy to just say, let's go hop over there and do that. And so it's easy to get those done. Now, this is probably going back to another blowout. Canada Far and Wide. That's the movie about Canada. It's a wraparound movie with Martin Short and Test Track.
Is that where we gotta color our little Duffy that
That's
one
where
time?
you guys colored that. Yep.
I don't remember that.
Duffy's
Bree
little
didn't.
bear.
We didn't do this when
Yeah, I was
Bree
like,
went
none
with
of this
us.
sounds familiar.
It's a wraparound movie, so we didn't do it again, but we did do it when you guys were younger. So Canada Far and Wide Test Track. Ren.
This is no debate. It's gonna be Test Track.
Test
Dustin?
track, and this is the test track, like Disneyland, right? Is the
Cars.
Yeah, test track all the way. Okay.
Yeah, between these 2 and the thrill of Test Track, and it doesn't get to my stomach, we're doing Test Track. Heather?
I'm the same way, although I like how you go in and get into Canada Far and Wide. They take you through some of the mountains through the back, but it was pretty cool to do that. And if you're trying to get out of the heat, that's a great place to go. But I still love Test Track. They've updated it over the years, but I still love Test Track.
You remember these, Bree?
Well, since I've never done Canada Far and Wide, I hear Canada is a great place, and I believe it.
Sorry.
But I've never done it, so I'm gonna go with Test Track.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with Test Track too, but I just want to bring up. I think we went to Canada Far and Wide after we ate at Le Cellier.
Yeah.
And that is an amazing steakhouse. Just oh my gosh, it's like I feel like we're focusing on the rides, but that's not the only part about Epcot. Epcot has some amazing food, places to eat. Tepanetto, we go there
Oh,
almost
every
every time, and
The German
even
chocolate
the
chip.
like the little fast. What are those? They're like
Quick serve.
quick serves. I think we ate at somewhere. I got lamb or something like
Morocco.
Morocco.
Oh,
That was good too. So we're just focusing on the rides here, but there's also a whole nother part about Epcot.
That's one thing that separates
level.
it from the others.
The food, and we're gonna do a food one night. And we're gonna talk about our favorite restaurants and our favorite quick serves and sit downs. But right now, we're gonna focus on the attractions. But she's right. I mean, Epcot is our goat. It's our first meal every single time we go to Disney is to eat somewhere at Epcot. Okay, we've made it through our first round. Now it gets a little tougher to see who's going to make it into the final four. And remember, these final four advance to the final four that we already came up with the Magic Kingdom. So watch that video and see who we picked for the final four Magic Kingdom. But right now, these are the final four selections for Epcot. Spaceship Earth versus Living with the Land.
Okay. They're both very classic rides for Epcot, and I feel like they're very iconic to what Epcot is trying to do and show you like the future, but also showing you the past and how we've come to where we are technology wise, and Living with the Land just showing you how economic they're trying to be about their food and trying to grow it there and health conscious and stuff. But I think I'm gonna go with Living with the Land. I like how they do it. I like that it's a boat ride. You get to see everything. And yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Living with the Land.
Bree.
I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier about when you first think of Epcot, what do you think of? And you think of that great sphere.
Duodecic sphere.
yeah, you know that thing. So I'm gonna go with the Spaceship Earth.
Heather.
As much as I love Living with the Land, and I would like to at one time take a backstage. I think you can do a backstage tour of Living with the Land. They take you through a little bit more. It's an extra cost, but I'd like to do that one time. But I think with the staying power and everything that goes with Spaceship Earth, you've got to go Spaceship Earth. Because I think this not the third time that Spaceship Earth is getting remodeled?
Well, it's had several iterations, and I know different narrators. So
Right.
This will be another narration and a whole different telling of the story. So yeah, I think this is the third major renovation of Spaceship Earth.
So I'm going to go Spaceship Earth.
Between these two, Living with the Land, I love Living with the Land. You think that I don't have anything to do, I'm going to go do Living with the Land, and then you're like, wow, I was really impressed with that.
Mm-hmm.
And you would want to do it again, and you'd want to do Spaceship Earth again. Again, these two are not hard to get onto. You can get onto these relatively easy, depending on the time of day. If you go Spaceship Earth, probably the afternoon on, it's a walk on. Early in the day, everyone just kind of gathers in. It's the very first thing when you're walking into the park, so people really get on it. But I'm Spaceship Earth. It's a broader story than just the ecological. It's talking about from all the way back from the caveman days all the way through modern technology. So for me, it's Spaceship Earth.
Yeah. You can't have the Earth without sustainability and food production and different things. But like it's Bree and I think my dad hit here. Yeah, you see that sphere, you know you're in Epcot. It's the marker. It's like the symbol of that park. Spaceship Earth.
Ren.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Spaceship Earth just because normally when we go, we do Spaceship Earth a little bit more than we do Living with the Land, because usually we do Living the Land once and then that's all we do for the trip. Whereas Spaceship Earth we usually do like once or twice, like a little bit more. And for me it's fun because you get to have your like little character that it makes a life for at the end. So for that I'm gonna have to go with Spaceship Earth.
So Spaceship Earth makes the final four of Epcot. Let's see who joins it. American Adventure versus Mission Space. Ren.
This one's easy for me. It's gonna have to be Mission Space just because I like thrill rides and stuff.
Yeah, Mission Space. Just don't hit it back to back. That's not good.
And this is where these matchups kind of get a little unfair because you're going to a show versus an attraction, a ride, a thrill ride like that. And so even between these two, I'm going to have to go Mission Space. Gut check it and get on and go.
I'm the same way. Mission Space, even though I do enjoy the American Adventure, Mission Space.
Who doesn't like to go into space and go to Mars? So yeah, definitely Mission Space for me.
Oh yeah, Mission Space for sure.
No contest.
Clean sweep. We got two of our final four. Spaceship Earth. Seeing a theme here? Mission Space. Now let's see if now it gets a little tougher. Soren and Frozen.
Gosh, this is gonna be a hard one just because we've never rode Frozen, and so But I think at the end of the day, even if I had rode Frozen, I think I'm gonna go with Soren. It's just that ride. It just even the queue when we were like waving your hands in front of everything to get the leaves going. I'm gonna have to go with Soren.
Great.
Yeah, Soren, it's just one of those signature rides that when you go to Epcot, you're like, all right, we have to do that today no matter what. And I also I don't know, I think it was at the Disney World too, but I liked walking through at Disneyland when you would go see all about the old aviators, like the past aviators and stuff, and that was really cool. So Soren takes this one for me, even though Frozen Ever After does look really cool.
When we talk about we'll do another video about the differences between Disneyland and Disney World. That is one of the differences that Bree brought up between Disneyland and Disney World. But I do like Soren. Soren has some interactive queue because you used to just walk down the incline and there was nothing to do. You just stood there. They added some interactive things with projectors and things you can do. So I'm going Soren.
Yeah. Now, I watched the videos and really have looked at Frozen Ever After, and I really want to do it. I can't, and that because I haven't done it. Whenever we get back to Epcot and everything gets going again, I will definitely make that a priority to get on to Frozen. And I've seen the like I said, the animatronics are great, but it's a boat ride, and there are other boat rides, but there's only one glider. And that's Soren, and that experience that is Soren, I don't see how, and again, Soren's not going to be a walk-on. Frozen's not going to be a walk-on. They're both going to be something you're going to have to pick and choose, but I'm going Soren.
I think it's just going to come down to the fact that we haven't done Frozen.
Yeah.
Because it does sound very entertaining. Like they said, the technology that's in it. Yeah, I'm gonna go, and this pains me to say it. I'm gonna put Frozen up here because I think it would be more thrilling and enjoyable. That's what I'm gonna go with.
I
I don't know. There's a lot of good points about it, and so that's why I think it just makes it so difficult. And I wish I could have the comparison of being able to go on Frozen Ever After. But also keeping in mind that I know that there's another Frozen ride that I think I would enjoy more just because of the experience. That's not at Epcot, but talking in general, that I would rather go and do that Frozen thing versus this Frozen thing. So I'm gonna have to go with Soren.
What is the other Frozen thing you're thinking about?
The sing-along.
Oh, okay.
It's because you said ride, I think, and
I
definitely
said experience.
like said ride.
So Soren makes it to the final four, and our last selection for Epcot to advance to the final four, and
We already know.
pity the duck here,
Pity the duck.
Grand Fiesta
All of our favorites have it.
and Test Track.
Test track.
We've already
Can we all
decided.
just? It's
Really?
unanimous.
It's
It's
just
a
All of
test
us are
track.
choosing the test track.
It's
Yeah.
unless you were gonna say something
I love
different.
Donald's, and that was a great ride, but that doesn't
beats
come.
Test
That
Track.
doesn't come to
Yeah, no.
close to the test track.
How that-
Especially
There's no
after
way.
its refurbishment and like
Yeah.
update.
The queue,
Unbeatable.
especially, like you get to design your own car, and they test your car specifically. I think it makes it more personal.
Yep, we can't. Anyone else on those? We're all good. Test Track to the final four. So we got Spaceship Earth, Mission Space, Soren, and Test Track. All four of those make it to the Sweet 16 that we're going to bring to you and find out what's the best ultimate attraction in all of the Magic Kingdom. So this wraps up the Epcot experience of the top four attractions at Epcot.
Mhm.
We're going to move on to Hollywood Studios. So hey, if you like these kind of videos, make sure that you click a like down below and click subscribe. And so you can always be notified when you get new videos. Watch coming soon the Hollywood Studios and the Magic Kingdom, and then Hollywood Studios and the Animal Kingdom, and then the entire park competing against
Sweet 16.
the ultimate Sweet 16. So watch for that. So this is Say What? We'll see you real soon.
See ya.